let me introduce our guest speaker. He's an influencer. He's also a dad, a father, a husband, a community leader, actor, and an ex-bartender. I love it. Bartending and acting, yeah, I guess it goes together. One of the co-founders, go-to guys. He's a friend. He's a leader. He just got back from Lake Tahoe. And then, like I said, last month, Lake Tahoe, beginning of the month to end of the month, down to Mexico with the leaders of ACN. He's one of the co-founders, go-to guys. He's rested, and I think he's ready to go. Because, I mean, he came out real good last week. Didn't he not, Ms. Black? He came out real great. Now, let's find out. I'm going to put it in his hands, see if you guys double down. Without further ado, Regional Vice President, the one and only influencer, Mr. Dean Tarrolly.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys can hear me okay. So, yeah, you know, I got to tell you, I really like what Al just said. He said, did you double down? Did you do any of those things that we talked about? Or are these calls, you know, are these calls your lifeline, your way to stay plugged in until, you know, you're sort of hoping that something clicks? And I don't know the answer to that. You're the only one who knows the answer to that. I do know someone that can answer for themselves, and that's Al, right? You can't do ACN or be involved in network marketing. And the overwhelming majority of his career, as I know in ACN, and have any kind of success without doubling down, without doing those things, you know, doubling down on what you're good at. So you continue to advance your business forward and then address the things that you know you need improvement on. Like, I don't know if you guys called anybody else on this call. I don't know if you said, hey, listen, I want to get better at the presentation. I want to do this. Will you listen? Just tell me if it makes sense. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? You guys, you know, I mentioned this. I believe I mentioned it last week. If I didn't, I'll mention it now. You get rewarded in public for your work in private, right? You get rewarded and acknowledged in public for the work you do in private. I mean, that's the old story. I mean, you know, one of the old funny Hollywood stories is like, you know, oh, he's an overnight success. Really? I've been doing this for 20 years. I just happened to get the right role at the right time on the right show with the right director and the right story and the right, and those things came together. Like, you guys, those stories are very common, the quote unquote overnight success. So that time, effort, energy, and most importantly, the consistency with which you do and learn the basic core elements of our business on a daily basis will serve you dramatically. We talked about doubling down and improving last week. You got to give yourself room to grow. You got to give yourself, right? You have to. And if you don't do that, by the way, and I've said this for a couple of years to you guys, if you're attending these calls and you know everything, I will congratulate you because you now are at the pinnacle of where you're going in ACN. Now, I've been doing this for a while. I'm not at the pinnacle of where I want to be. That's why I stay in learning mode. Right? I stay in learning mode. You know, that's funny. There's a clip that went around this week. And I wish I would have thought of it before we got the call started. But it was somebody talking about Shaq and Shaquille O'Neal. And we all know the success that he had on the basketball court. He's a huge guy, super successful, multiple championships. He and Kobe, and so what's crazy is this. Someone was asking them, you know, who would you follow? And he goes, I'd follow Shaq. He took his career where he reached the pinnacle of his career on the court. And I don't even know what the statistics are, how many businesses he owns, how many pieces of franchises he owns. Now, I want you guys to think about something. Here's the amateur's response to what I just said. Well, yeah, he's successful. He's Shaq. He's got a reputation. He's got money. That's why. Hang on a minute. Check yourself with that. How many stories do we all know of people who've reached the pinnacle of their career? Tons of money, tons of success, accolades, reputation, recognition, and today they are financially ruined. So when we say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. How you handle one thing is how you handle everything. What you bring to the table in one environment is probably going to be very similar to what you bring to the table in another environment. So here are my notes for today. Getting ourselves set up. There you go. By the way, that's for the Al Thomas call. So I got to thinking about this. Why and what is holding back the breakthroughs out of this group? Now, look, I don't know everybody's businesses. I can speak to some people who have had breakthroughs on my team, and they're on this call. In fact, I know that Mr. Thomas likes to read off the regional directors. I have a couple of regional directors on this call. I have regional director Greg Williamson. He's on this call. Regional director Steve Roby. He's on this call. And by the way, for the record, these guys don't need to be on the call. They don't. They have teams they're building. We're developing independence. But see, you guys, not everybody is going to go on the same journey with you. I just had this conversation with Steve, like we talked about this, by the way, right? I'm going to say something to you right now, and I do not want it to come as a shock, right? So here goes. I need more coffee for this one. I'm asking you to accept what I'm about to say. Not everyone who starts with you will finish with you. And that is the nature. By the way, I was going to say that is the nature of any business. That is the nature of any group activity, and certainly in business. Why is that? Because someone's vision may not be as big as yours. The upside to what you're doing, they just may not see what you see, right? Putting in more time, going to another event, doing this, and the returns aren't coming the way I want. Well, hold on a second. When you get a job, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't care what the job is. There's a 2-week window when you get started. That's kind of like a trial period. It's kind of like a testing out period. It's kind of like as servers, we call it trailing. You trail for 2 weeks. You follow the head server, the head bartender. Even in corporate America, if things don't work out in the first week or two, the company's got themselves protected. Like if this is not a fit, there's an out. So why folks, here's a question. Why do we have patience with a job and impatience with ownership? Why? Why do we cut ourselves a break? Oh, I'm still learning the job. And I'm going to give you one of the answers. Okay. Why are we patient with a job and impatient with ownership? Meaning owning our own businesses. In fact, hang on a minute. So I'm going to give you guys something. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. The reason why we are patient with a job and impatient with ownership, here it comes. So apologies in advance if this is offending anybody. But here's the answer. Why are we patient with the job? Because they're paying you. That's why. And for lack of a better way to say it, they got you. Just the way that they got me. Now, do we all have to have jobs to survive? Absolutely. Here's how it comes full circle. That's why Jim Rohn talks about work full-time at your job and work part-time on your fortune. The difference between people, in my opinion, that at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, when the day is done, the work day is done, they fed the kids, and now they have that time, right? What defines the people that now say, okay, now it's time to go to work for a few hours on my dream, on the business that I own, on the skills that I need to get better at the things that I need to do to advance our business. What are some of those skills? You guys, we're in the people business. This is one of the conversations I had with Steve Roby yesterday about working with and dealing with people. Chris Sampson, he's a regional director who regularly plugs into this call. We had a big one for him this week on how to deal with an individual that had joined his team recently. When I tell you guys that people are patient with a job, here's the reason for that. Because not only have we accepted, but we look for instant gratification. And instant gratification is a killer to an entrepreneurial spirit. Instant gratification is a killer. Why? Because when you're doing something entrepreneurial, here's what it is. You have to put off that gratification. Why? Why do you have to put it off? Here's why. Because if you don't put off the instant gratification, you are selling. But okay, real estate's a big deal right now. If you do not put off that instant gratification and have an acceptance of that, here's the issue that happens. You are selling the house underpriced. You're selling your dream. You're selling, and by the way, the dream doesn't have to be money. The dream could be time freedom. Look, you guys, here's the deal. What if you just made enough money in ACN for you to maintain the lifestyle that you have now, but now you get your time back? Alarm clock gone. I'm not talking about buying planes and cars and stuff and nonsense like that. I'm not. I'm talking about, what does it mean to you to not have to answer to someone? And by the way, I don't care what stage of life you're at. You could be younger, you could be more seasoned, you can be anywhere in between. So what does this come down to? This comes down to a question of messaging. Messaging. Right here. So messaging. So what do I mean by messaging? There's two sets of messages here, right? Here they are. I'm going to do them in reverse order. There's two sets of messaging. Here they are. Messaging number 2 is the message you send to others. That's message number 2. And clearly you should be able to, from that, figure out message number 1 is the message you send yourself. And here's what I think one of the issues is, where the issues lie. The message, number 2 is the message you send to others, and number 1 is the message you send that you're sending to yourself every day. Every day. Okay. Talked about that last week. Every day. What do we talk about in June? No days off. No freaking days off for this group. None. Well, you got to understand, it's my family day. You know what? Please, no days off. What does that mean? Something every day to advance your business. So there's the message you send to others, and then there's a message that you send yourself. Now check this out. You cannot send one message to yourself and a totally different message to everyone else. You cannot. You are conflicted inside. You cannot send a message to everyone else about how ACN is so important to you, but you went through an entire day without doing one thing for your ACN business. Please, please. And you want to know why that's so important? If those messages are not congruent, you now look at yourself as somebody who is kind of a phony in this, kind of faking it and like, but now watch what the opposite is. Watch the opposite. You do something every day. The message you're sending to other people is how ACN is important to you, and you're on your way to doing something big. And then the message that you're sending yourself is congruent with the message that you're sending everybody else. Here's some things that you can do. By the way, this allows you to be congruent. How about this? How about this? Here's a list. Hey, what's going on with ACN? I'm improving. I'm building. I'm growing. I'm gaining. I'm learning. I'm expanding. How about all those? Those are all real things. You just have to make sure that you're doing the things that the words represent. I'm improving. Really, what did you do? Did you take it? By the way, we're going to get into this in a second. Are you reading this? Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Are you reading Think and Grow Rich? Have you immersed yourself in any of the things that will help you become the leader and the person that you can be within this business? I don't know. Why? I don't live with you. I'm going to give you a great example. Something that totally caught me off guard. Totally caught me off guard. Are you ready? Okay, cool. So I'm having a conversation with Greg Williamson the other day. And Greg's had some really Greg, who's a regional director on this call, he's had some really significant breakthroughs over the course of the last few months. And the only reason why those breakthroughs have happened is because internally, he made a decision that he's going to do this. He's going to do it well, and he's going to be willing to be coached. What does that mean? He does something. We talk about it. I may have to redirect him in a few things, whatever the case may be. Well, here's what happened to Greg, or with Greg. We're talking like, so it was like a week ago. And he said, yeah, you know, I have a book program with my team. I said, what are you talking about, a book program with your team? What are you talking about? He goes, yeah, my team on the East Coast and I and a couple people out here, we're all reading Greg, you're doing Think and Grow Rich right now, right? He goes, yeah. So he goes, well, yeah, there she goes. Right there goes Jackie. So Greg goes, yeah, we're all reading Think and Grow Rich. Freaking sure enough, listen to the words I'm saying, you guys. Listen to the freaking words I'm saying to you. The production that is happening in Greg's group is out of that team. They're doing something every day to build themselves, to build their business, to be more prepared to take the message out to the people, to take the message about what it is that they're doing. Now, look, if y'all can see Greg Williamson, I'm not going to say anything right now, but I'm going to let you know right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the guy's kind of blushing right now. Yes or no? He's kind of blushing. He's kind of blushing. Now, here's what they can say. They can say, I'm improving, I'm growing, I'm gaining, I'm learning, I'm building. And guess what? Check mark next to every single one of those things. So now the message that they're sending to everyone else is congruent with the message that they're sending themselves. Show of hands. Is this making sense? Anybody? Okay. So here's another really important point to this. You all are here. Okay. You have to accept the fact that it would have been very easy for you not to be here. That's a win. In and of itself, that's a win. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole participation award versus achievement award because you already know how I feel about that. But the fact that you're here and you're doing things to keep yourself engaged in learning, that is a win. So you need to accept because you guys, look, fear of success, fear of failure, and fear of what other people think. Some people genuinely have a fear of success. So I want you to think about this for a second. What if I told you by next week you were making $100 grand a month? Well, guess what? Every single person in this room would freak out. Y'all would, maybe except Al, y'all would freak out. Now, here's why I say that to you, right? What would you do with it? What would other people think of you all of a sudden you're making that kind of money? You know, all the things that people don't think about, all those things that come along with it. Now I want to give you a thought. What if you knew that you put in the work and you knew this ACN business so well, and you've gotten so good at helping other people succeed that 100 grand a month was the reward. The 50 grand a month was the reward. The 10 grand a month was the reward. The few $1,000s a month was the reward. The few $100 a week was the reward because you're now learning how to do this and you are doing on the outside what you're talking about and you're telling yourself on the inside. Now the message is congruent. And the only reason I throw out those numbers out there, you guys look, those are not income claims. Those are not any of those things. But I want to let you know that it is an industry that has a massive upside for the people who do this business seriously and they treat it seriously. Whatever that upside is to you, that's the message that matters. whatever that upside is for you. So I want you to accept that there is a level of success that you all have because you're in it. Here you are. Now, here's the other thing. You have to accept that your success is coming. That you have been, look, here's messaging I would tell myself, but you think I'm doing okay? I barely started. Wait till you see where I am at the end of this year. What? Like, look, don't trip. Like this is the preview to the preview. Wait till we're putting in thousands of customer points in every single month as an organization. Wait till we're doing hundreds of reps a month that are getting started building their entrepreneurial businesses. We're creating the environment, the foundation for people to have success, part-time plan B. Those are the conversations to be having with yourselves. By the way, who'd like to be that leader? Right on. Absolutely. So, oh man, word for word, right out of my notes. So what I want you guys to do, if you want to, by the way, that's the key thing in anything, leader. Here's what I want for you, if you want to, is to decide and start to define what that looks like to you. I don't know. You got to decide and start to define what that looks like to you. Now, look, the easiest thing to define are the positions. Like, look, if you're an executive team leader, enough. It is regional coordinator time. Please, in the words of Al Thomas, stop. No, I'm not going to say it. Stop messing around. If you're a regional coordinator, it's time to go regional director. Be that story. Have someone like Jim Rohn used to say, hey, you know what? I may end up in your testimonial. I don't know. But I do know this, people, when they achieve something great, typically they can follow the steps backward and they go, you know what? This was a watershed moment. This was a watershed moment. This is a person that came into my life and spoke to me in a way. Like these things happen. You guys, opportunities are never missed. They're never missed. They are never missed. They're always taken by someone. Is that you? I don't know. I hope so. So decide and define what this is going to look like for you and the message that you're sending yourself. I'm treating this seriously. I'm doing something every day. I'm advancing my business by acquiring a customer, piquing someone's interest, or presenting the business to someone every day. Then you'll find that consistency becomes the most important ingredient in your mix. Because your skills by default will improve if you do something every day. If you do something every freaking day, your skill set is going to improve. Why? Because now you're building a knowledge base of this worked, this didn't. Man, this got us a result that we want. This did not get us the result that we want. Check. And now the message you're sending yourself that you're treating this professionally, part-time plan B, because you understand that you cannot be in the, by the way, it does not mean that there's not upfront money involved. I'm talking about the instant gratification of trying to get to the end before, like, look, you guys, the work comes first. The work comes first. But I do not want you to fall into the trap of preparing to prepare. Please, please. I would rather you go out and muck it up and go try and talk to people and say, I would rather you did that than becoming the student that's stuck in the stacks at the library who never puts any of that information into action. Am I making sense, you guys, today? Yes or no? So here, listen to this. And then let's see, 9:27. We're going to have an on-time arrival for Mr. Thomas. All right. One of my favorite books, Power of the Subconscious Mind. So here goes. You guys understand, I'm not going to open up a whole new chapter here, but you guys understand that people, our lives personally, professionally, we make decisions subconsciously. The subconscious mind makes the decision for us, and then we act upon it. Okay? So I want you guys to think about this. Are y'all ready? Whatever the conscious reasoning mind of a person believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. I'm going to say that again. Whatever the conscious reasoning mind of a person believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. So if your conscious reasoning mind goes, you know what, 4th of July, I'm a regional director. You know what? New Year's Eve, I'm a regional vice president. And that is the messaging that you are giving yourself daily. You're imprinting it. Your subconscious mind will begin to accept that and act upon it. And you will find yourself doing the things that are required to advance your business and do the things that you said you were going to do the day you decided to sign up an ACN. So your thoughts are important. How you think about this journey is important. The importance that you're giving it. The message that you send yourself from what I just shared with you will translate into the message that other people get from you, and you will be incredibly attractive in what it is that you're doing and where you're going and the number of people's lives that you can positively impact. And I don't just mean financially, I'm talking about in all the important ways. So that's what I wanted you guys to know today. It was on my mind a lot is messaging. What is the message that you're sending yourself? What is the message that other people are getting from you, and how that's going to impact your business, I think is going to do phenomenal things. So if you want to get yourself out of neutral, figure out the messaging you're sending yourself, make sure it's congruent with the message that you're sending everybody else, and get after it. So Mr. Thomas, I'll turn it back over to you.